Hey there, YouTubers. I'm back with Aprilia Talk, and today we're gonna have a crack at changing that tail there to a tail tidy. So I don't think it's gonna be too big an issue. So we'll have a crack at that. But I got my good mate Steve here. There's quite firm on tools, so if I can't figure it out, he'll certainly give me a hand.
Oh, that's good news, Nils. It's going round and round. There must be a nut on the inside.
Well, in that case, we might have to take the top off. Let's see this off, and we got our wires here, there and there, and we're just going to figure out how to get the assembly off. And I think there's a couple of screws in there. Don't know if you can see them, but there's a couple of screws there, and then there's a plug in here that needs to come out, and there's a screw up there. So we'll try to take them off and see if the assembly will come off. See down there, there's a nut, and as you can see, that turns around, so we need to put a 10mm spanner on there to hold that in place so we can get the reassembly off. Alright, we got the bolts out. Well, now we have to take this sort of, it's a relay out of some sort. We'll have to get that out to get to the wiring of the indicators. So that should slide out. And it's probably a good idea to disconnect the battery, because there is areas here that can touch the steel or the aluminium, and you might shorten up the whole machine. So probably a good idea to take the battery out of the equation. And there's our plug for the indicators. So we obviously need to click that out, and Steve will have a go at that. And that's a similar set. So the assembly should pull out the machine now, and here we go. There's our assembly. Here we go. There's our tail tidy, and it comes from a company called Bikes and Stuff, and that's a New Zealand company, but it's a R&G from England. But Bike and Stuff are local in New Zealand, so they obviously import those things, and they've been friendly enough to send me a pair of valve caps in red, which is nice. And here's the thingy bobby, and here we got the kit, and it's an Evotech, comes from England. And as you can see, it's not just a matter of a quick bolt-on thing. I thought it would be a bit simpler than that, but there's a bit of wiring work to be done, and I had to get a hold of a crimping tool, it looks like. So it's not just a straightforward. There's a little bit of work, and there's no there's no instruction manual, so we'll just have to wing it as we go. Now we got the wiring harness out, and yeah, it takes a bit of a fiddling around. You have to pull these two pieces apart, and then there's a little tricky bit here, the foam bit. There's actually hiding a screw in behind that foam, and if you don't get that, so these two screws there, you can't get it apart. I not just about broke the damn thing trying to get it out, because I couldn't see those two screws. So that's a lesson for you right there. And we're going to use the original indicators, So that's ready to go. Wiring is packed in with tape, but we just have to figure out how to use the new wiring and use the same plug here that plugs into the bike. So we'll try and have a look at that now.
Okay.
Alright, so here we got the original indicator, and this is the wiring that comes with the Evotech kit. So obviously make sure you get the earth on the right one, which is black in this case, and power is red. Strangely enough, the original one got, I don't know if you can see it on video, but it's got dark blue and light blue, but they look very similar, so that's a bit confusing. But this one here, there's no doubt about what is what. So that just slides back in, and we can screw it back together again, and the indicator is ready to go. We're just gonna have to get it installed properly, and we'll see how we go with that. Well, here we got the Evotech piece, and there's a little trick to it. There's a tiny little, what can we call that? A little tap, a plastic tap. So you have to push that in and then turn it around. And obviously you need to be a bit careful there, because it's just a plastic piece, and that can snap very easily. So now it lines up with the original hole, and yeah, that's the way that goes. So here's the assembly. There's just a little detail with the number plate light. We thought there was a bolt missing, but of course we're reusing the bolt that holds the whole assembly on, so it's the original bolts go into that hole, and the number plate light will then fit, and then all the wires goes in that hole, and it all goes into the square hole there, and we'll bolt that on, and then we have the wires coming up on the other side here, and then we just have to see if we can get the wires to line up with the original wires. Okay, so now the Evotech tail tie is sitting in the right slot, and you can use the same bolts on the other side. Now we've got the bolts down here and one on the other side down there. So we're just going to have to tidy that up, and then it's a matter of getting the wires in the right position, and hopefully we all go. So now we're putting the connectors on the wires, and as you can see, you really need a crimping tool for that, but my buddy Steve had that in his van, so that was lucky. And we ran out of paper, so here's the instructions. So obviously make sure you get the earth wire onto the bike, and everything else will follow. But the funny thing with the original part is that it's light blue and dark blue, but now we have red and black, which of course the red is the power one and the black is the earth. So it's a bit easier to see now. So here we got the wires connected with the connectors that came with the kit. So now it's just a matter of, they're a little bit too long on that, but there's still a bit of room down here, so we can squash them in there, and yeah, we should be good to go. Yeah. Well, it's all put together now, so try and turn the ignition on, Steve, and let's see if yeah, the number plate light does work. And here we go, left and right, bang on. Excellent. Alright, this is it, all done and dusted, and I think most of you will agree that it looks a fair bit better. A tail tidy is it called, and it does look better, it does look more tidy. So I'm very chuffed with it. And thanks to my mate Steve, there he is.
No worries.
Yep, we'll have a beer now and be happy with what we achieved today. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back again when I will get a arrow pipe. But the budget is not quite stretching for that yet, so they'll have to wait a little while. But yeah, so very chuffed with that. Looks great. Thanks for watching, guys.